Shabbat Shalom and welcome to a Shabbat service at TBJ unlike you have ever seen before. Unless you were here the last time we did this, which was in what year, Cantorstall? 2003. Maybe 2003, so not for a while. I want to welcome you to a really special evening of music, of spirit, of excitement. We are calling this our Rock Shabbat, but formally named Ma'agal Choser, Circle Without End. You're going to hear more about the significance of this service, but the short preamble is that 50 years ago, our cantor emeritus, Cantor Stahl, who was a young buck, becoming a cantor at the time, wrote a Shabbat service in the style of rock and roll, which was something that was an up-and-coming trend at the time. And the theme of this service, which you will hear repeated a few times throughout some of the themes, is that there is nothing new under the sun. What is old becomes new again. And so the music that was relevant in one generation remains relevant today or circles back around at some point. And so we thought, what a beautiful opportunity in celebrating the 50th anniversary of this publication and also the 50th anniversary of the ordination of our esteemed Cantor Emeritus, to have an opportunity to sing this music and to put this service on here at TBJ. So, we don't usually have a full drum kit in our sanctuary, but you are in for a treat tonight. We encourage you to listen, to sing along, to rock out, enjoy yourselves. We have a wonderful core of volunteers and professionals. We want to thank all of you for supporting this evening and for being here. And we want to especially thank 3 families who are sharing this evening with us. There are 3 wonderful Bnei Mitzvah gentlemen who will be called to the Torah tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock and at 12 o'clock. And their families will never forget what it was like to have Friday night services of their Bnei Mitzvah weekend. So it's my pleasure to begin our Shabbat service this evening to invite up the Beckerman family, the Kublanovskis, and the Vogel family, the parents of our Bnei Mitzvah, to light Shabbat candles and to kick us off this evening.
As we light the Shabbat candles, we link ourselves with the generations of our people who have kindled these holy flames. Time passes quickly, and we take this moment to pause and express our gratitude.
We stand here as a family, with humility and with love for this occasion, for one another, and for being a part of this sacred community. As we participate in this age-old ritual, we embrace this moment as we move forward in the cycle of our lives.
Yesterday, we held our children in our arms, and tomorrow they will be called to the Torah as Bnei Mitzvah. These Shabbat candles remind us not only of the joy of this occasion, but they help us to see the light within one another and the strengths that each of us possesses. Grateful for all the precious gifts in our lives, we kindle the Shabbat lights. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'adlik ner shel Shabbat.
As we turn to our service, I want to point out, I hope on your way in, you grab the service booklet for this evening. This will act as our prayer book this evening, and you'll be able to follow along both with prayers and readings for this service. We are going to sing for you a rendition of the candle lighting. Thank you so much, and Mazel Tov to our Bnei Mitzvah families. Let us begin.
And we'll continue reading responsively on page 6 of your prayer packets. This Sabbath, as every Sabbath, we come together to begin the observance of the mitzvot that set this day apart from the other days.
Observe the Sabbath to keep it holy. For thousands of years we have kept this day.
The observances have varied, but they have always been linked by the original commandment.
6 days shalt you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath unto Adonai your God.
The Sabbath was distinguished from the other days of the week by the prohibition of work. Each generation had its own way of making their rest into something beautiful and holy.
On this day you shall not do any manner of work.
This idea, which guides our Sabbath observance, has always been present. Though our ways have changed, it has remained the same.
Therefore Adonai your God commanded you to keep the Sabbath day.
Haolam, Orei Peri HaGafen,
God a new song, sing to God all the earth. Sing to Adonai, bless God's name. Day by day proclaim God's salvation. Make music before God with the stringed instruments, with the instruments in the music of song, with trumpets and shofar. Sing praises before Adonai, our God.
Okay, everyone stand.
whose word brings on the evening. Through your wisdom, you open the gates of heaven, and with you, understanding you, makes the cycles of time and the changing seasons. Unending love have shown you the house of Israel, your people. You have taught us laws and commandments, statutes and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, we will reflect on your teachings at our lying down and our rising up, and we will rejoice in your Torah and commandments forever. For they are our life and the length of our days. We will meditate on them day and night. May you never turn your love away from us. We praise you, O God, who loves your people, Israel. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
When the children play in the summer sun and you sit and watch the games, with vague remembrances of other days, of the time when it was your parents who taught you the words to remember, it is only then that you realize hope is with the children, so teach the children well, for they will mirror what they have learned, and what you could never become is what you can help them be. Use the time while it is yours. Give them your long-gone dreams, and make their minds strong enough to achieve what was denied you. Your children shall keep the commandments, they will keep the Sabbath rest, and say the words that preserve our inheritance.
Shabbat
I invite you to rise for the blessings of the Amida.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם מעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. And at this point in our service, we turn our thoughts to those who are in needs of healing, healing of the body or healing of the spirit. This Shabbat, we're praying for the healing of Cindy Baker, Gary Bean Hacker, Bob Broder, Ada Barbara Corvelli, Janice Cummins, Moshe Danielle, Marjorie Diamond, Alan Foltz, Bill Foster, Marcy Goldsmith, Larry Hollander, Bonnie Coven, Eliana Leora, Bat-Shoshana Leah, Julie Levine, Rachel Leah, Alan Rothfeder, Tammy Schwartzberg, and Judy Zucker. And to those names we add, of course, those who you are all thinking about this Shabbat. If you are praying for somebody in need of healing, I invite you to share their name out loud, and if you feel so inclined, your relationship to them, or to hold their name in your hearts. Prayers for healing. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals the sick.
Ah
My parents saw the same world I am seeing, only before me. I won't be seeing anything they could have seen. The trees, the grass, the rolling hills, the golden sunrise, and the flaming sunset. I am not the first one. There were many people before me, and there will be more people after me. But to me, it is a new experience, and with each person, there is a new first time. That is the beauty of it. So old and yet so new, the future only relieves the past. It is like a circle without end. We take a few moments to pray in silence.
Shabbat Shalom. Far out. I'm thrilled to see so many of you out there and many of you who are on our live stream as we have the opportunity to present Circle Without End. I'm deeply grateful to Cantor Fishbein and Matt Turk and Pedro D'Aquino for their incredible efforts to bring this to fruition and to assemble such a wonderful band and singers representing 3 generations, giving new life to my music. It's hard to believe that I wrote this 50 years ago when I was a senior at the Hebrew Union College back in the early 70s. Some of you here may actually remember the 70s. The 70s were famous for bell-bottom trousers and tie-dye shirts and platform shoes and the rise of disco, but it was also an era of economic struggle, cultural change, technological innovation. It was a conflict-laden time dealing with Watergate and Vietnam. It was a decade of soaring inflation, political upheaval, and erosion of the United States' prestige worldwide. I guess there's really nothing new under the sun. The times, they were a-changing, and my generation refused to remain silent. We wanted to be heard and ride the waves of change to a world different from our parents' generation. And the synagogue was not immune from these waves of change. What were Reform services like in the 1970s? Well, we were using a prayer book written in the 1890s with beautiful but nonetheless archaic language. Synagogue music was grand and majestic, performed by operatic cantors and professional choirs accompanied by an organ. A guitar or a piano simply never, ever was part of worship, let alone a band. And 50 years later, this is the norm. Perhaps I was prophetic. At that time, I was working with teenagers in my student congregation. Not a great stretch, since I myself was a teenager. Kids didn't relate to synagogue services, and I was worried that we would lose my generation. How could I prove that Judaism and the synagogue could be relevant while still maintaining a connection to our sacred heritage? The only place that teenagers seemed to resonate to Jewish music was in the UAHC camps. There, talented song leaders led with their guitars. They evoked deep emotions from our kids as they sang with enthusiasm and ruach. And the spirited song sessions and services seemed, on the face of it, incompatible with what was happening at their home synagogues. There was camp music and there was synagogue music, and never the twain could meet. And then I thought to myself, this so-called counterculture camp music, as well as the restlessness and rebellion of my generation, was in many ways no different than what occurred in my parents' and my grandparents' generation. They too were suspicious of the generations that preceded them. And as psychologists tell us, it is imperative for growth and maturation that human beings separate and individuate from their parents. Indeed, long before these psychologists opined, the Torah tells us that God instructed Abraham to leave his parents' household and find his way so that he would become ready and prepared to become the father of the Jewish people. What in essence differs from one generation to the next is not the rebellion itself, but only the manner of rebellion or challenge to the old order. Children's rebellions from their parents may differ in approach, but the reasons to rebel are the same as those for the parents' rebellion against theirs. And I was reminded of the biblical text, Kohelet, Ecclesiastes, which says, one generation goes, another comes, but the earth remains the same forever. That which has been done is that which will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. So I began to compose what would become Circle Without End. I conceived it as a Shabbat service that would prove that our tradition was indeed compatible with the musical expression of today's youth, to link authentic Jewish music with the musical rhythms and sounds of the day. I used an underlying melodic theme based on the traditional chant of the book of Ecclesiastes. It's what you heard at the outset, and you'll hear several more times. That traditional motif is given new life through the rhythms and modalities of folk rock music, which was what we were all listening to on our transistor radios and 45 RPM recordings. Alas, the creators of Spotify had not been born yet. I enlisted the help of my fellow student, Bruce Benson, who prior to entering HUC had played in professional rock bands. I would sing and play what I wrote, and Bruce would bang out riffs and rhythmic patterns on his electric guitar. Senior students at HUC were required to submit original compositions as part of our training in harmony and counterpoint. My professor was a classically trained, stern, and formal Austrian composer by the name of Frederick Pickett, who incidentally had been commissioned by TBJ in 1968 to write a service for cantor, choir, and organ in honor of the dedication of this building. Among synagogue musicians, this service is fondly known as the Short Hills service. Coincidentally, I actually sang one of the compositions from this service at my ordination. Again, there was some kind of cosmic prophetic karma at work here, I think. With trepidation, then, I submitted Circle Without End to Pickett. He was known for rejecting most non-classical compositions, often tearing them up and throwing them in the wastebasket, proclaiming, "What you gave me was trash." As he looked through my music, I braced myself for the worst. Instead, he looked up and said, "This is very interesting. There's something here." And a year later, Circle Without End was published by New Horizon Music. I hope Circle Without End, which remarkably has been around for 50 years, proves a couple of things. First, camp music and synagogue music need not be mutually exclusive and incompatible, and there need not be any generation gap, because we have 3 generations on this bima tonight, all joyously singing the same songs. Secondly, the quest for the values of love and truth, relevance, integrity, and the yearning for security and peace are eternal and not original to any particular generation. These values are constant, despite idiosyncratic manifestations of rebellion or restiveness or frustration with the older generation. And finally, I hope Circle Without End proves that tradition can be ennobled by innovation, and innovation can be inspired by tradition. Our heritage is renewed and refreshed and reinvigorated by creativity and openness to change and growth. Tonight, we bear witness and confirm that tradition and innovation can truly exist in perfect harmony like a circle without end.
My parents once, they told me there are ways to change the world. They sat me down by their side, and with tears in their eyes they cried. So the world would be a beautiful place, and I'd like to say I tried, but my time is gone. Is that which will be done.
things are different really. I give you what my parents gave me.
And there is nothing new under the sun.
So it's time to give you the land and let you find the way. For life's problems look to follow us all, each and every day.
That which has been done is that which will be done.
My parents, they are gone now, and I am all alone. And their problems, they are all mine now. Will the circle never end? And as I live from day to day and catch life fleeting on a run, my son asks me why this is so, and I say there's nothing new. So the world can be a beautiful place, and I'd like to say I tried, but my time is gone and I've returned to look and see the things that remain unchanged.
That which is near is that which will be, and that which has been done is that which will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun.
We continue by turning to page 14, inviting you to please rise for a leaning.
Let us adore the ever-living
And now at this point in our service, we turn our thoughts to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people and those of every race and every nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them on the Shabbat, let us meditate on the meaning of love and of loss, of life and of death. As is our tradition in our community, if you hear the name of one that you may have lost, please feel free to stand to honor their memories. During this period of Shiva, the 7-day period of mourning, we remember Bernice Shobe, wife of George, mother of Cliff and Lana, grandmother of Louis, Scott, Lauren, Jack, and Julia. We remember Dr. Donald Brief, husband of the late Beth, husband of Dottie, father of Julie, Janet, Laura, and Eric, grandfather of Tara, Jesse, Vanessa, Casey, Michael, Lizzie, Josh, Spencer, Davis, Caroline, and Nathan. We remember Abe Rubin, uncle of Sarah Singer. We remember Julius Margolis, father of Howard and Fred and Stella, grandfather of Adam, Amanda, Drew, Rachel, and Bale. We remember Robert Feynman, husband of Sherry, father of Karen and Susan, grandfather of Rachel, Molly, and Ryan. And we remember Roberta Bloom Spiegelman, wife of Gerald, mother of Lee, of Jean, grandmother of Lindsay, Jordana, Ariel, and Sage. During this period of Shloshim, the traditional Jewish 30-day period of mourning, we remember Dr. Bernard J. Topfer, Sandra Fameglich, Blanche Bloom Alpert, Dr. Robert Lee Kittredge, John Derek Simmons, Dina Gerber, Lorraine Lowy, Sheila Nissenson, Ellen Goldstein, Erwin Baker, Billy Fish, Steve Scharf, Jill Tabachnik, and Dr. Howard Rothwag. And during this, their Yortzeit, their yearly anniversary of death, we remember Isidore Ackerman, Dr. Benjamin Adelman, Francis Altschiller, Sandra Hausman Augenblick, Mary Becker, Florence W. Beiser, Lawrence K. Bernheim, Nathan Borkan, Saul H. Berger, Arthur Lewis Felsenheld, Henrietta Cohen Foster, Rose Goldman Friedman, Philip M. Gale, Tabitha D. Gewurtz, Gilda Steinman Glass, Harold D. Glucksman, Ray Goldsticker, George Goodman, Phoebe Fern Greenfield, Leatrice Greer, Claire Hirschman, Barney Hoffman, Philip G. Hood, Sadie Kerpel, Jerome L. Kessler, Laura K. King, Elsa Klein, Edna F. Krieger, Julia Leichtman, Gladys G. Levine, Shirley Lichtman, Louis Lieberman, Ida London, Samuel London, Beatrice Minoff Lowengrub, Celia Bachman Lowy, Irving Charles Marcus, Helen Grossner Marks, Moses Meyer, Joy Nallett, Eileen Portnoy, Minna Puder, Albert Rosenban, William Walter Rosenblatt, Gary Salins, Belle S. Shapiro, Isaac Schlosser, Catherine Siegel, Harry F. Summer, David Sperber, Joel Bennett Spira, Ernestine Hanauer Turkis, Herbert Wachstetter, Theodore Wasserstein, and Edward Wattenmaker. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May the memory of the righteous be a blessing to each and every one of us praying here on the Shabbat Eve. And let's honor their memories by inviting their souls in to dwell among us as we rise as one community to say the words of Kaddish. They're found in the middle of page 14. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'olma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam ulomei al maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha barichu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'olma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru amen. Say shalom b'broma, uya say shalom, alleluia. V'imru amen, may the source of peace and peace to all who mourn here, and comfort to those who are bereaved everywhere, as together as one community we say, amen. Please be seated. Friends, so good to have you all here this evening. In many ways, 50 years in coming. You know, I'm not one of those people who get starstruck easily. I see people on the street in New York, it doesn't get me, but there are a few that I've always wanted to meet. Like I've always wanted to be Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. That would really strike me. But then I realized my clergy partner for 15 plus years is Howard, Elton John, Led Zeppelin, Stahl. So where'd he go?
He's behind you.
He's right behind me. Ladies and gentlemen, Howard Stahl. I've gotten pieces of this over the years, but not the whole Megillah. What an extraordinary evening, and still trying to process all of it. Just extraordinarily beautiful. And for those of us who love rock and roll, you came to the right place tonight. So, friends, lots happening over the next few weeks. The orders of worship are part of your prayer booklets, and at home you can click on the link. So please do see, again, lots of things happening. What I want to highlight the most is obviously it is Thanksgiving this coming week. Not only do my family and I send all of you blessings for a Thanksgiving that is a full table and conversations that don't make us hate each other. I saw this week Frank Luntz came out with a report that said 25% of us are scared to go home for Thanksgiving because we're scared we're going to get into some kind of political argument that will cause strife in our family. Let's not be part of the 25% this year. And one of the ways you could bring good vibes onto your table is that I'm guessing that everyone sitting here is going to have so much food at their tables, we're going to complain about how much we've eaten. Not everyone feels that lucky or is that privileged to be able to eat regularly. We are, as always, collecting turkeys and food bags. We've been doing it all week, but 9:30 to 1 o'clock p.m. this Sunday will be the big haul that we want to bring in. There's a link here. Go there so you can see exactly what goes in those food packets. Please bring 5 or 10 or 15 or 30 or 50 turkeys because there are that many hungry people out there. As much as we collect, it will not be enough for the people who are hungry. So that is the most important. Again, you could look at everything else coming. I hear there's a couple of book signings coming you may want to be at, but I'll let you do the math on that and come on December the 2nd. Pretty subtle, huh? So give me a little laugh for that, no? There we go. Thanks, Rabbi Perlman. Okay, so Eli and Graham and Rowan, it's not even, I thought you'd have to be more patient, not so bad, you know, so we're going to ask you to come up. We're not going to make you do the rock and roll version. The good traditional will do for all of us, but please come up here to lead us in Shabbat Kiddush and Motzi. Gentlemen, please. So gentlemen, on this evening where we are rocking and rolling, you are going to do the same. Come on over here tomorrow. On behalf of the Brotherhood of Women's Association, we present you with these Kiddush cups to remember the sweetness of this evening and something that we hope you will use over and over again with this memory as the base, but lots of Jewish life to come. Ken Fishbein's going to put some, not wine, some juice. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav v'hahanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh Vareshi ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'aharta v'notanu ki dashta mikol ha'amim Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, ha'motzi lechem min ha'aretz.
Great start, gentlemen. We're looking so forward to celebrating with you and your families tomorrow night. Mazel tov to all three families. It's also opportune to take this a moment to thank our choir. You realize 3 years we haven't had this big of a choir for obvious reasons. So to have our professional and volunteer voices back here really enriches the evening. Means so much to us. Especially you, I guess they're not all little ones, but sort of little ones to us. So well done on that side, and to Cantor Fishbein and all the work that she's done with Cantor Stall to make this happen. Thank you so much. An extraordinary evening. Your celebrants, if you will, be at the Oneg Shabbat, so you can have lots to say to them and query them about how they put together this incredible evening. Okay, take us home.
So we are going to conclude with the words of Adon Olam. The melody you heard already. It's the same tune as the Lechadodi that we sang at the start of this service. And there's a lot of call and response. So now is your moment. If you are inclined to rock with us, please sing along. It's a pretty simple tune, and we would love to hear your voices lifted with ours. So Adon Olam. Take it away, Cantor Stall.
Hashem Amen.